Welcome to Holy Smokes and Dad Jokes. I'm Jonathan Pate, pastor, hope dealer, and part-time professional dad joke distributor. This is where faith meets real life and hope comes with a punchline. Let's laugh, grow, and find a little light in the middle of everyday life. Come for the hope, stay for the groan. Welcome to Holy Smokes and Dad Jokes. This is episode 0. Thank you so much for listening today as we launch out into the world of podcasting. The goal for today is to tell you a little bit about myself and what I'm looking for when it comes to this podcast and how I hope that it helps me and helps you at the same time. So a little bit about me. My name is Jonathan Pate, and I grew up in a little community. I wouldn't call it a town, a community called Blue Mountain, Alabama. And trust me, it's even more redneck than it sounds. The city here where I live is called Anniston, and I've lived here for my whole life. I'll be 51 years old next month, and boy, has time really flown by. I'm quickly becoming that old man that yells at kids for playing in his yard. I've been married to my beautiful wife, April, for 28 years now, and we have a 22-year-old young man named Oakley and an 18-year-old daughter named Serenity, who's a freshman at Jacksonville State University. We have 2 dogs. One is a mini golden doodle, and one is a mini schnauzer. You know, speaking of our dogs, we recently had a scary moment with one of our dogs. The crazy dog got into our box where we keep our board games for family game night, and dog ate all of the Scrabble pieces. I know it's crazy. So we dropped her off at the vet yesterday, but no word yet. That was horrible. All right. I'm a pastor. I've pastored the same church for 25 years. I have a great church, wonderful group of people who love Jesus, and I love to be their pastor, and hopefully they love having me as a pastor. And so 25 years is a good sign. I think we both love each other. I'm a bivocational pastor, and what that means is I do more than just pastor a church. Our church is a small church, around 150 people or so, with a very unique calling that I want to talk more about in future podcast episodes. But we have a preschool with around 60 kids and it has a wonderful reputation in our community because of the people who run that preschool. We have a recovery center for men that are in drug addiction. And the bivocational part of what I do is I'm a real estate broker and owner. I'm the operating principal for a Keller Williams company called KW Realty Group in Anniston. And we have about 90 agents there. And we also have a business center in Gadsden, and it's called KW Gadsden, and it's in Gadsden, Alabama. And we have a little over 30 agents there at that business center. So what's this show going to be about? I mean, I'm a pastor, I'm a broker. What's it going to be about? And so if I was just going to sum it up, it's going to be about real life. It's going to be about hope. It's going to be about humor. We're going to be very light on politics. Sorry, not sorry. It's hard to have a show about hope, and then we're going to focus on politics. So we're really not going to go there. But I believe we need hope. I know the world needs hope right now, and I also believe the world needs humor. And so one of the rules for our podcast is if you're going to be on my podcast, you got to bring your best dad joke. And so I need you to bring some game, let me hear the best or the worst. However, with dad jokes, the best ones are really bad. And so I'm really looking for some good material from our guests that come on the show. Also, get ready for some insults. I will insult my guest, and I'll probably insult some of you that listen as well. I will find your weakness and make fun of it. It's what I do. I really think it's like a self-defense mechanism of an introvert. And so as an introvert, sometimes making light or making fun is our way of, or at least my way. I don't know if any other introverts do this, but it's a way of me getting over the maybe the nervousness or the tension sometimes that comes with people and crowds of people, and so I will be a little bit witty, a little bit sarcastic. If I make fun of you, it means I like you, and so some of you I like a whole lot, and you know that. So that's going to happen. So we need, our culture has such thin skin. We've lost the ability to laugh at each other and to laugh at ourselves. And so I hope that we do that. I mean, I really do hope that we do that. So if you come onto my podcast, please help yourself. There's a lot of material here to make fun of, so please do the best you can. Just know it's coming back at you, and I'm pretty good at it. So we're gonna have fun doing that. Be patient with me. I'm new to this podcast thing. I've never done a podcast before. I never hosted a podcast before. I think the closest that I've ever come is I used to do some little videos called Grace for Your Day. They were little daily devotional videos, and I went back and looked at them the other day, and they're pretty corny. I mean, and you may think this show is going to be corny as well. That's all right. That's sort of who I am, but they were funny as I went back and looked, and not in a good way. I was like, man, those are corny. But I will say my hair was a lot darker, and my face was a lot skinnier. So I guess those were the good old days that people talk about. But I do need your patience. We're going to learn. I'm sure video and audio and techniques and stuff like that will get better as we go. But we're looking forward to it. But I'm gonna need your patience, because other than Grace for Your Day and Zoom meetings, that's probably my experience with stuff like this. Speaking of Zoom meetings, I recently was on a Zoom meeting where I told a joke during a Zoom meeting, and turns out I'm not even remotely funny. That was awful. I know. Expect more of that. I think that's it. We're going to talk about real life. Some people have said that my stories about real life are funnier than my jokes. I don't know about that, but we're going to talk about real life, and we're going to bring in hope, because as a pastor, obviously, I can tell you where hope is found, and we'll talk about that as well. And we're going to be on the light side. If you want politics, there's a lot of channels you can go get your politics. That's probably not going to be we're not going to be your best source for that. And so we may briefly brush the world of politics when it comes to like our faith, and Lord knows humor. There's a lot of humor that can be found, and so we might do some of that, but this is not going to be your source for that. But that's just a brief introduction of who we are. So I would ask that you do a couple things. Please share the episodes. We're going to try to put them on all the different channels that podcast and videos would go. I've got to step up my game. I'm not on a lot of those channels. Well, I'm on some of them, but it's weak. I mean, it's really that game is weak, and so I've got to get a little bit better about that. But we're going to put them out there, so you help us by sharing those things, and also send me material. Like maybe you're not going to be on the podcast, but you've got a really good joke you heard the other day, and so hit me up on Facebook, Messenger. I will share my email as well, and so send me some material that I can use, and who knows, it may make the podcast. I hope so, because I need some good ones. Obviously, you've heard what I got, and I could use some help. So I look forward to this journey with you. And so you've made it to number 0. So let's just start counting them off, and let's do life together, and let's find hope in Jesus, and let's laugh while we're doing it. So thank you so much for joining us on our very first episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Holy Smokes and Dad Jokes. If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who could use a little hope, or at least a decent dad joke. Remember, no matter what you're walking through this week, you are not alone. You are deeply loved, and there is always more grace than you think. Until next time, keep the faith, keep your joy, and keep on laughing.